I realized that I was also mourning like the person that I used to be. And at first I was like, you know, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
The sun shines on all of my glory. My flaws don't look so bad at all. What was I so afraid of?
So hey y'all. Hey everybody, it's Sharmel. Welcome back to Lux Lifestyle. It's been a minute since I've just kind of got on camera and talked to you guys. If you are unfamiliar with my chit chat series, I did create like a whole playlist of like these dialogue, transparency vlogs, you know, all this chit chat stuff. But yes, it's been a minute and I try not to force these videos because I want them to be authentic. But when I get encouraged to speak or something happens, I do like to get it out. But again, the playlist to all these chit chat videos will be down in my description box. But anyways, if you haven't been following those videos, I've been talking a lot about like this transition that I'm going through. And if I'm completely honest, for a long time, something on my lip. If I'm completely honest, for a long time, I was feeling like I was letting myself go. And it just hit me like, honestly, this week that it's like, I'm not letting myself go. Like, I'm transitioning into something new. The first thing I want to kind of talk about is this quest or obsession with perfection. It's something that I deal with and that I've slowly had to let go of the idea of perfect. I was watching a video. It was a TikTok video. It was like a beauty related video, but she was just talking about how like the pressure for black women to always have to just be not even done up, but just on some basic level of presentable. I think as black women, we all can relate that like in general, black women, we are never allowed to be. And like I said, the video was more so about beauty standards, but when I was watching it, I realized that it was also kind of a parallel for just overall life. We rarely allow ourselves to be. I feel like everything we do, it's always motivated by some expectation. Whether we're conscious of it, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, it's always motivated by some sort of expectation, some sort of societal norm. It's just always motivated by something other than just really just being, essentially. With social media, we are in a time where you can literally curate your perfect life, especially on the surface level. For this video right now, I didn't look like this before I started filming this video. Okay, I had on like a raggedy t-shirt. My hair was loose. My baby hairs wasn't done. I didn't have on any makeup. I didn't have on any jewelry. I was just really comfortable in being, but when I film, I have this expectation that, okay, I have to curate a certain image to get on camera and talk to you guys for it to be deemed presentable, for it to be deemed acceptable. And these expectations are in line with perceiving this certain level of perfection. And I brought this up to start the video is because, like I said, I've been in this space of letting myself go. I think I did a video last year, and I was talking about, you know, how I wanted to in some way kind of reinvent myself for my 30s because I felt like I was letting myself go. And the idea of letting yourself go, I feel like for me personally, it came from this obsession of wanting to be perfect, wanting to be right at all times. But I really wasn't letting myself go. I was just transitioning into something new. It's so funny. The reason this video even came about is that maybe like a month or so ago, I was in the shower. If you guys haven't been keeping up with my vlogs, I did move like 2 months ago. But yeah, since I moved into my new space, I've just had a lot of time to just kind of sit with myself. I've had a lot of time to just kind of think. I feel like for the first time in a long time, I've been able to just like exhale and breathe. A lot happened over these past 2 years, which I'm going to get into. But a lot happened, and I feel like for the first time, like I've just been like, you know. And I was in the shower maybe like a month ago, and I've overall been in a really good space. So I'm in the shower, and I just had this thought, and this is how this video came about. I was in the shower, and I had this thought, and I'm like, damn, I think I really like who I am. And to say that out loud, it sounds awkward. It sounds weird because I feel like there's this assumption that we're always supposed to like who we are. And I feel like for the first time in a long time, I've really been able to say like, I like me. You know, the self-love and the self-care movements are really big right now. And I feel like we spend a lot of time nurturing the self-love aspect, and that's a beautiful thing. We all need to have some level of self-love, but for me there's a difference between like self-love and self-like. You know, like I love myself, I have the self-love, I love myself because at the end of the day I understand that I am solely responsible for my overall well-being, and to truly care for a person, you have to have some basic level of love. So in that aspect, yes, I love myself. I try to make the best decisions for my overall well-being. But I can say honestly that many times, although I love myself, I didn't like myself. Again, this could be totally different for individuals. Like, you have the right to choose what you feel is best for your life. To me, it's kind of similar to like a romantic relationship. Like, you know, you hear people who've been in relationships that have kind of dwindled, and, you know, they may say like, I love my partner or I love my spouse, but I'm not in love with my spouse. And I feel like it's kind of the same thing. Like, I loved myself, but I wasn't in love with myself. I didn't always like myself. And for me, liking yourself is being able to genuinely enjoy your presence, genuinely appreciate your overall existence. I've just reached a point where I can just like really sit and be in my own presence and just be at peace. It's funny, one day I was like laying on my couch and I was here by myself, and my boyfriend came in and I was just on the couch, no TV, no nothing, and he's like, "You just sitting here like in the silence?" And I'm like, yeah. I was completely at peace. It's not that I don't have moments of loneliness. Obviously, I'm human. We all desire some level of human interactions, but I don't need to. I don't have to feel good about myself. I can spend time by myself and just have just as much fun by myself. And another thing that I just kind of realized in my self-like journey, I guess you could call it, is that like I don't feel bad about my past failures. So on the surface, I feel like people have always perceived me to have it all together. I'm like in real life with like family and peers and things like that. I feel like I've always been the one that was supposed to have everything together. You know, I was always used as a standard. I was used as a role model. And for a long time, like I didn't feel like I was worthy of that title. I didn't feel like I was worthy enough to really receive the praise that I was getting. In my mind, I had so many failures and I used to really feel shame. I used to feel bad about it. And those thoughts used to really hinder me from moving forward. And there's still things that I'm still learning to get over, but I feel like overall I'm getting to a place where it's like, you know, that didn't work out and that's okay. I'm okay. This is going to be okay. And like in regards to professionally, I remember there would be times when I would be at a job, and again, this idea of always wanting to be right, always wanting to be perfect, like I would stress myself out trying to make sure I did everything right at work. And now my attitude when it comes to work, y'all, obviously I'm going to do my best to do it right, but if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. What they gonna do? If they fire me, they fire me, okay? I don't want to get fired. But overall, I just gained a certain level of confidence where I don't need to stress myself out about being perfect all the time. And I say all this to say is because all of these thoughts stemmed from me being in the shower, being like, damn, I like myself. And it made me realize that how many people genuinely like themselves? How many people genuinely enjoy their own presence? You know? You watch all the self-love and all the self-care videos and content and things like that. But outside of that, like, do people really like themselves? Do you really like yourself? For a long time, I just felt like I've been behind. I've been trying to catch up, like I should be further along. And I had to really sit and realize that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. God has me exactly where I need to be in this moment. Like I mentioned a little earlier in this video, so much has changed in these last 2 years. I've talked about it here and there on my channel, but I've never went into full depth of everything that has transpired over the last 2 years. And if I'm being honest, I feel like I could never really speak about it is because I was still like living it. I'm still living in some of it, but I can say, like I was saying, like for the first time in a long time, I've been able to just like and breathe. I feel like all of 2020 and half of 2021, I was in a fog. What the old people say, I don't know if I was coming or going. That's how I felt on most days. One of my memories popped up on my Snapchat maybe a couple weeks ago, and it was a picture from 2019, like October of 2019. And honestly, 2019 was like the last time I felt like regular. And when the picture came up, I was like, oh my God, I don't even recognize myself. And I sent it to my cousin because I had that thought, but I didn't verbalize it. And she was like, that doesn't even look like you. And I'm like, oh my God, other people see it too. And you know, like I said, there's been a lot of changes. In 2019, I was in my 20s. Fast forward 2 years later, after everything has transpired, like I'm in my 30s now. Physically, I don't look the same, you know. I have locks now. I think I'm gonna put a picture up just so you guys can see like the physical difference. I have locks now. I didn't gain like 20 to 30 pounds. I felt like I feel like now a completely different person. There's also been like a lot of emotional, mental, and spiritual changes as well. Just last week, I was on a one-on-one call with my manager at work. I'm still working from home, y'all. We've been talking about going back to the office for a while, but yeah, we were just kind of having conversation about like, we're ready to get back in the office. We're ready for things to feel normal. And, you know, we're talking about how we just haven't felt normal for like the past 2 years. And so, you know, I see the physical difference in that picture, but also when I look at that picture, I also see like an internal difference. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like leading up to 2019, I had to put in a lot of work because I wasn't happy with who I was becoming at that time. And so I did a lot of personal work, internal work. In 2019, I seen a lot of growth from the work that I was putting in. I seen it financially, I seen it physically, I seen it spiritually, I seen it romantically, I seen it just in all aspects of my life. Like that was really a high moment for me. Like my family was good, and it was so crazy because once 2020 came and the pandemic and everything hit, it's like the enemy literally came and attacked every area of my life that was going so good. And I don't want this to be like super drawn out, but from February of 2020 to November of 2021, where we're at now, I lost 3 great aunties. I lost both of my grandfathers. Both of my parents were battling illnesses. I remember the week that my grandfather died. I remember maybe not even a week later, my cousin, her daughter's father got killed. And then my other cousin, her grandma passed. This was all like in the same week. And all this stuff is happening. And these are the ones that I could just think of at the top of my head. In November of last year, I had lost a cousin who's the same age as me, and then I had lost a choir member. I literally went to their funerals one day after another. I went to my choir member's funeral on a Tuesday, and I went to my cousin's funeral the next day. Like it was a lot going on. And when things like these traumatic incidents happen, you know, they're isolated, but each event has its own set of problems. So it's like one thing's happening, you're trying to pick up the pieces from that thing happening, and before you can even fully get over this, something else is happening. So when I tell you guys, I was literally in a fog for the last 2 years. I didn't know what was going on. On top of that, you never know how people really respond to grief. You never know how people really respond to sickness. And you know, everyone around me was handling it their own ways, and I don't look the same. Like I didn't feel like myself in the moment. A lot of my loved ones, they didn't look like themselves. They weren't behaving like themselves in the moment, and it seemed like everybody was falling apart. And I've always had this mentality is like, well, somebody has to be able to hold it together. And honestly, to this day, I know I'm still working through a lot of what took place these last 2 years. But in the moment, like I feel like I still couldn't even just really grieve. I couldn't really process everything that was going on because everyone around me was falling apart, and somebody had to hold it together. So yes, like when I say there's been a lot of changes, when I say that I'm not who I am, I've transitioned to another person, it's more than just like surface level. Like there's been a lot that has happened. I first started getting my notes together for this video. Like I said, I was in the space of like, I really like who I am. Like I like how far that I have made it. I like where I've what I'm becoming. And as soon as I physically wrote out the notes and the talking points and organized my thoughts about this video, and I started looking at everything that had transpired, afterwards I felt sadness. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, this overall feeling of sadness came on, and you know, I've accepted that these things have happened and I have to continue to move forward, right? But I realized that I was also mourning like the person that I used to be. And at first I was like, you know, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Because I was looking at the picture from 2019. I was thinking about how happy I was. And although I'm happy with the person that I've transitioned to become, you know, I miss that person. And for a minute I was really sad about that, but I had to accept, like, I had to tell myself, like, it's okay to miss that person and it's okay to like who you are now. I appreciate who I was in 2019 because I needed that person to be the person that I am today. And the person that I am today, you know, I like me, but I can also say that I miss certain aspects of who I was in 2019. But again, you have to come back to the thought that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment, right? And we're all going to process that differently. Where you are right now in this moment is going to be different from where I am, and where I am is going to be different from where she is, and from where she is going to be different from where that person is. And we all have to get okay with understanding that wherever we currently are, whatever season we're in, we are there for a reason. It's just interesting to watch just like the progression of my life these last 2 years, and to be able to say, like, I genuinely like the person that I'm becoming. And I feel like I had to get to this point, like, in spite of everything that has happened, I had to get to this point because I told myself I don't want to be in a constant state of fear. I don't want to be in a constant state of panic. I don't want to be in a constant state of chaos. And so because of that, I have to make a conscious decision to choose peace. I have to make a conscious decision to choose joy regardless of what's going on, regardless of what's happening. And if you want to get to a place where you really like who you are, where you are in love with yourself, you have to make a conscious decision to choose that every day that you wake up. To choose that, honestly, not even every day when you wake up, every minute, every second of the day, I have to decide, what am I going to be in this moment? Am I going to be angry? Am I going to be sad? And I feel like when you hear stuff like that, it's kind of hard to really accept, because most of the times we can only see like what's right in front of us. Like, our problems are our problems. So it's like, it's easy to say, like, I'm going to choose peace today, and then something happens and it causes you to choose violence, right? And I was having a conversation with my cousin. She's in college right now, and so she's going through a transition as well. You know, I do my best to encourage her, right? A lot of my encouragement sounds exactly like what I just told you guys. You have to choose to be happy. And so she told me that I can be toxic. What is it? Toxic positivity or something like that. Let me look up the definition real quick. So toxic positivity involves dismissing negative emotions and responding to distress with false reassurances rather than empathy. So people can take that how they want it. Like I told her, I'm gonna tell y'all, I feel like a lot of times, like, it's easy to throw labels on something when we're not happy with the results, when we're not happy with how things are planning out. But at the end of the day, you can have your ideal situation. If you take your life right now, and if all your problems were solved, everything that you're stressing over, if all of it was resolved right now in this moment, there would still be some other problem that you had never thought of. So it really doesn't matter where you are, there's gonna be problems. Like, I feel like a lot of people have this idea, well, if everything was perfect, again, this quest for perfection, if everything was perfect, then I wouldn't have any problems, and that's just not true. And so because of that, you have to make a conscious decision to be happy. You have to make a conscious decision to choose peace and joy, because there's always going to be some level of something happening. At the end of the day, you got to be with you every day, right? I got to be with me every day. And I don't want to wake up every day and not like myself. I don't want to wake up every day and not be happy, because I have to be with me. Like, why would I want to choose that for my life? And with that being said, I'm going to close the video out with that. Like, think about it. You got to be with you every single day. It don't matter who else is around. At the end of the day, you have to be with you. And so because of that, think about what you choose for you daily. Yes, that is going to be it for this video. I thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Leave your thoughts. Anything you want to add, leave it down in the comment section. And yeah, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Snatched by Sharmel. And I'll see you guys in my next video.